Absolvement or Absolvement. I don't know how to say it. Point is, it's a game that I've had the privilege to test, and I want to talk about how I think it has the potential to be one of the most up-and-coming games out there for the Roblox community. With all that in mind, I'm just going to give a brief overview of how the game works, what you can do in it, what kind of game it is, what I like about it, what I'd love to see in the future, and just overall the potential the game has. Absolvement is a dungeon crawler game similar to some of my favorite games like Wizard of Legend and Diablo. You essentially go through procedurally generated layers that can have anything from normal enemies to unique modifiers to event rooms and so much more. The game is very early in development as they plan to add more special event rooms like shops, bosses, unique events, etc. But what I love about the game is that compared to Deep Woken, a game that I've done the majority of my content on, the only real dungeon Deep Woken has is Layer 2, whereas everything that you do in Absolvement is a unique run. You're learning new skills, finding new unique weapons, and so much more that they've sneak peeked and leaked, and I'm just very happy I get to test it. But let's discuss briefly what your average gameplay looks like for a run. Your average run goes something a little like this. You can go into a party up to 5 people, and you start at the first layer, procedurally generated, and just going through each one, clearing out a room filled with enemies. Once you clear out a room, an orb will pop up at the end of one of the rooms. You go interact with it and you'll get 3 choices. It can be a talent, a new move, or a special add-on or weapon, anything of that nature. You pick one, you move on. You can also decide to discard if you don't want any of those and get a random stat buff instead. But what I love about Absolvement is the choices so far are pretty varied in what you can do. They have, if I remember correctly, 8 different elements or attunements if you're deep woken brain rotted like I am, and I'll list off just a couple that come to the top of my head. You have lightning, water, disease, shadow, physical, fire, holy, nature, and I'm sure they might add more in the future. But each one of these has their own tiers of skills with talents associated with those skills and weapons that benefit from various skills. Like the character diversity that you can make off the bat already is insane, and I don't feel that people are giving this enough credit. You know, you can make an ice and fire build if you get all the right rolls and you're patient enough, or you can do a disease shadow build that's all about bleeding your opponents with plague. Like, you can do anything you want to do, and that's what I love about this game so far. Don't even get me started on the character creation though. What Absolvement has so far is plenty of races to pick from, and what they call sins, which are essentially you have to pick at least one, and they're a difficulty modifier that makes your character have a challenge of some form, from increased vendor prices to enemies will never stop aggroing on you after you hit them to you need to kill everything on a floor, and so much more. There's plenty of races to pick from, except for the Harmonite. That's the bitch race. Don't pick that. There's no buffs and debuffs. That's not a challenge. That's boring. Don't pick that race. I think the other big thing that I love is it's just a fun dungeon delver game to play with friends. Personally speaking, when you've played Deep Woken for over 2 years at this point, you're doing the same dungeons over and over again. It feels very bland and very stale. But with Absolvement, each run feels exciting and new to do so far, partially because I'm new to the testing community for it, and every run's going to be different in some way. You're going to find a different room, you're going to find a different type of boss, you're going to maybe encounter a special event, and they say the game's only 10% done. If this is what 10% looks like, the potential for what 50 or even 100% looks like down the line is fucking insane. So I hope you guys will stick around as I try to give and cover more content on the game as it gets tested more and more, and I would love to build the community with the developers and everybody else. If this game is interesting to you, I will leave a Discord link down to it in the description so you can go check it out for yourself. They do wave events every now and again to get random people in, and if you're a larger CC, you can get in by meeting their requirements and opening a ticket with their mods or developers. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys later.